XPO Logistics in Nashville, the trucking company that brought our green cover seeds to us. They were supposed to ship it to the Fleet warehouse, but we called them this morning. Said the soonest they could get it to the warehouse is Tuesday, and today's Friday. So we said, bag it, we'll come pick it up ourselves. So we got the seed loaded. Now the mission is to get it to the farm. Welcome to Fleet Outdoors Productions. Today's video is about fall planting. You may ask yourself, you guys are in the hunting apparel business, why the hell are you doing videos about fall planting? Well, the simple answer to that question is the entire team at Fleet lives and breathes the whitetail hunting experience and lifestyle. And our hope and desire is that you will see that the effort, commitment to excellence, quality, and innovation that we put into our green fields easily translates into the same effort we put into every product we design and develop here at Fleet. Scope of the project. What are we planting? Crazy Horse Ranch is about 1,500 acres. Of that 1,500, we have about 150 acres in green fields. The balance is a closed canopy forest, and the predominant species of tree in that forest are red and white oak trees. The strategy we use for green fields is a little bit different than perhaps what you might expect. Our number one priority is the nutrition and health of our deer. Our game surveys suggest that we have somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 deer on the property. If you look at the scientific studies, they show that the average deer consumes between 6 and 8% of its body weight in food per day. Think of that. That's about 10 pounds per day per deer. If you multiply that by 200, that's 2,000 pounds of forage per day. During the spring and summer months, you've got tremendous vegetation on the property that provides a lot of nutrition for the deer. And in the fall, you combine the vegetation that remains with the mass crop from the red and white oaks, the acorns, and you've got a lot of food. But as you move into the winter and early spring, the deer can be severely stressed without adequate supplemental nutrition. Our goal is to combine year-round green fields together with the supplemental feeding program we felt was necessary, which consists of a high-protein deer pellet that we dispense out of 12 troughs strategically located around the property. Pellets we use are from 4S Wildlife Solutions, and they've worked well for us. The second component of our strategy on green fields is to build soil quality. I'm talking about the health and biodiversity of the soil. The land in Middle Tennessee is extremely rocky with a high clay content. We're not in the corn belt of Iowa with fertile and healthy soil. So every time we put something into the ground or we think about the soil on our property, we ask ourselves the question, how to improve the quality of that soil so that the green fields will yield significant protein for our deer herd. So soil health and quality is our second objective. And then the final component of our greenfield strategy is what most people commonly think about when they talk about greenfields, and that's to attract and retain deer so they're can be viewed and are visible during the hunting season and other times during the year. In terms of what we are planning this fall, we've decided to go with a series of fall blends from a new vendor, Green Cover. New in the sense that's new to us. Green Cover's been in business for about 13 years. And what attracted us to the business was the fact that they're well schooled in the entire science of cover crops, primarily for commercial ag production purposes. But they've got the system down when you think in terms of cover crops and the utilization of cover crops to enhance the quality of your soil. As you may have seen from our spring planting video, we're firm believers in a no-till approach to green fields. Don't disturb the soil and make sure the soil is covered by a cover crop year-round. So Green Cover came to our attention through our wildlife biologist, Grant Woods, and they've developed this year a series of special blends for deer food plots. The particular blends we've decided to go with, first and foremost, is plot release. You'll see here in the video what the actual ingredients of this blend is. And what we've purchased is approximately 2,400 pounds of plot release to plant. The seeding rate for this is recommended at 80 pounds per acre. The second blend that we've purchased this year is Southern Clover. That goes in at approximately 20 pounds per acre, and we've acquired 500 pounds of this particular seed. And then finally, as kind of a one-off test, we're going to plant 2 green fields that are right next to one another, one in the plot release, which I've already mentioned, and the other in a Brassica Plus release. The seed rate on the Brassica Plus is approximately 14 pounds per acre, and we're going to do a side-by-side comparison as the deer come onto the green field. Which half do they hang out on, the plot release or the Brassica? One other thing about Green Cover that caused us to go with them for seed this fall was the fact not only their knowledge of the science behind cover crops and crops that actually enhance the quality and biodiversity of your soil, but seed that is effective in attracting and retaining deer on your property. As I said earlier, their expertise is largely, at least from a historical perspective, been in the cover crop business for commercial ag producers, but they've recently launched a new line of blends specific for the deer hunting marketplace. Green Cover's been in business since 2009. They've got over 18,000 customers and sales in all 50 states. So they've been around for a while and really have the science and technology down. In terms of process, what you'll see as the video progresses, we started initially with mowing our green fields. And if you watch the spring planting video, you'll know that some green fields were planted in soybeans and other green fields were planted in corn. And the reason we did that was the price of soybeans was high and we decided to plant corn and let it stand for the entire year. So we're going to leave our spring corn planting standing, and a lot of the corn has been consumed by the wildlife on our property, but there's still plenty of ears remaining. So we're not going to touch those fields. We'll leave them in corn for now. But where we planted soybeans, we're going to go in with these 3 varieties of Green Cover seed and plant those. So we mow the soybean fields up. We're not going to use any glyphosate or Roundup on the fields this fall. In the springtime, we used a little bit of it, and the cost was exorbitant. I think we spent north of $400 on 10 gallons of glyphosate. And so we're passing on weed killer. The springtime here in Middle Tennessee, extreme drought. So our soybeans, they grew, but they weren't as abundant as they've been in years past, and that was driven primarily by the drought, and as a result the weed cover is not that bad. So we're just going to mow the fields, then we're going to follow up and drill them with our Genesis no-till drill. Our objective is to start the planting process at least 45 days before the first frost here in Tennessee, and if the window presents itself, 7 days in advance of a forecasted rainfall. Seeds don't germinate without water, and people have told me in the past you can put the seed in the ground and just wait for the water. But with the price of seed these days and our desire to have nutritious, abundant green fields, we're going to roll the dice and wait for up to 45 days before the first frost, but wait for when we have a rain forecast within a 7-day window. That's a wrap on fall planting season. We started this exercise on Labor Day weekend, beginning of September, and we pursued it pretty hot and heavy for the full duration of September and October. We had a couple of pauses in the process. One, waiting for rain in the forecast, and two, waiting for our seed to arrive. I would say approximately 130 man-hours of labor went into this exercise. We consumed 100 gallons of diesel fuel, and we put 5,300 pounds of seed into the ground. Anytime you take a project like this on at a farm, you're bound to break things. In the process, with our rocky soil on one of the green fields, I dropped a disc on the Genesis no-till drill and had to go out and buy replacement parts, 2 plates that secure the disc to the axle and a new bearing for the inside of it. In traveling to one of the green fields, we haven't fully trimmed all of our four-wheeler roads, and I broke one of those lights up there on the tractor. I've since replaced it. And then the final item is we lost a dust cover grease cap on our bush hog. But other than that, it's been a successful mission, and what we'd like to do as a follow-up to this presentation is to get some drone shots once the green fields are up and green and lush. Hope you enjoyed the video. Appreciate you watching.